certain terrorist attacks could have been averted, could have been prevented, could have been, and valuable lives could have been saved. The ecosystem was such that it is not just the government which was trying to do, propaganda was pushed through in the political arena, propaganda was pushed through in the media, propaganda was happening in the judicial institutions of this country. This Hindu terror was a thing manufactured, conceived, manufactured, the entire evidences were manufactured and propagated through media, through judicial sources, through all sorts of things by the UPA in power. Namaskar. I am quite honored. I was posted in the Ministry of Home Affairs. My old colleague T.R. Prasad is here. We have been colleagues for almost 30 years and he knows he had gone out to some other placement. I went to Home Ministry in the Internal Security Division dealing with counter-terrorism, which was the essence of my work, plus law and order in different places and the intelligence coordination and so many other areas, including funding of terror, fake Indian currency narratives and all, how they were trafficked and pumped into India. These were my domain area, and at this time India had seen some of the most bloodiest terror attacks in the year, and during the same tenure 2008 was the ignominy of having the opening the new year with a terror attack in CRPF camp in Rampur. Not just terror attacks. The issue is certain terrorist attacks could have been averted, could have been prevented, could have been, and valuable lives could have been saved. Certain terror attacks, a particular group of people who were generally appeased by the then government or the political dispensation ruling the government, and the narrative was sought to be changed. Innocent people were incarcerated for long periods of time, which included an asset who would have gone on to become the chief of army staff or a corps commander in the Indian Army, but still his career is ruined. Maybe people have on technical issues, Colonel Purohit's case I am talking about, on technical issues people may say he has been granted bail, this, that and all, but the reality is an Indian chief of army staff's career was curtailed and made to suffer. There is no denying about it. At the age of 34, he was a selection grade lieutenant colonel. So I find that when defense officers are sitting here, they can foresee or they can extrapolate where he would have reached. And a daredevil, committed, excellent officers. I am not saying his APIRs, his CRs have been saying like that repeatedly. I don't know him personally, I don't hold any brief for anybody, but these are all the narrations I have tried to bring it out. And the ecosystem was such that it is not just the government which was trying to do, propaganda was pushed through in the political arena, propaganda was pushed through in the media, propaganda was happening in the judicial institutions of this country, and whatever little he could do. And very interesting thing is, one of the most interesting thing is what Colonel Purohit had informed the government through his inputs, or that the threat, the fear, the possible radicalizations which could happen in certain parts of the country, which were one of the very basis of his input, which triggered the action against him, they are now getting actually true. They are being found. We can realize it in coastal Kerala, coastal Karnataka, coastal Maharashtra, and certain other area in the Malviya region. It is coming true. So that is the amount of radicalization, the amount of human resource we are supplying to ISIS is coming true, and that is very unfortunate. Instead of taking action on the serving colonel, had we taken action on his inputs, maybe the story would have been different. So that is very unfortunate. So I am now starting off with the entire thing. Ishrat Jahan case. After coming out of the Ministry of Home Affairs, I had been in several areas, been a colleague with Mr. T.R. Prasad again for a short while. Later on, we moved in different directions, and I found that I should take a VRS and do something, expose the misdeeds which had happened at that time. Otherwise, I will lose momentum and memory also. So after coming out of the government, I decided to write this book, Myth of Hindu Terror. How have I structured the book? I wanted to bring it out. See, basically my prominence as a bureaucrat in the national media and all other places came out because a lot of focus was there in the Ishrat Jahan case, 2009, 2013, and for that I have had to face I have to take a lot of things on my chin. So I started off with that narrative, Ishrat Jahan case. Ishrat Jahan was a Fidayeen recruited, not my word, Muzammil Butt had told, in fact David had told David Hadley, Muzammil Butt as a recruiter, Fidayeen recruited, he had confessed to the David Hadley, and that is the basis of the statement. And also several intelligence inputs were there. Javed Ghulam Mohammad Sheikh, she was travelling with him, and another two persons, one is Amjad Rana, one is Jason Johar, all four of them were travelling in a car. There is a lot of input, in fact, how they went to Faizabad, where they procured their arms, have been validated by the forensic evidences, handwriting experts in the checking in register of the hotels where they stayed, on Ibrahimpur, Nasik, so many places they have gone. The SIM card records, strangulation records and all that. So there is no need, there is no other counter evidence to suggest that she was not a Fidayeen. From Surat they were coming 270 kilometers. They got their vehicle broke down in Surat at around 7:30. They got it repaired 8:30, 8:45. Shakti garage in Surat had repaired the then they started proceeding towards Ahmedabad. There were clear inputs and they were stopped outside the outskirts of Ahmedabad, and a narrative was, after the entire event happened, a narrative was peddled that it was a fake encounter, it was a crossfire, and the people sitting on the rear of the car started, these are all foreign evidences proved, on the rear of the car had started the firing, that is either Amjad Rana or Zishan Johar, who are both of them are illegally living in India. They are Pakistani origin, having entered as infiltrators through Jammu and Kashmir. So if a person who was travelling with an illegal Pakistani national, having entered with through Jammu and Kashmir, what do you call them? What do you call this lady and Javed Mohammad Sheikh? Terrorists. There is nothing other than, there is no other definition. That is what I have captured. That is the truth of Ishrat Jahan, which media and certain vested interests have been trying to take it away from the national gaze. These are all facts. They are in the Home Ministry record, they are also facts. Many of them are in the forensic record, in the Gujarat police record, IB and everything. This was what was conveyed by me in the first affidavit filed on 6th August 2009 in the Gujarat High Court, which was again approved when I made the report affidavit based on records available on the file. There was no tinkering, or Honorable Minister then Mr. P. Chidambaram approved it and I went and filed it. But as an afterthought, we all know that 29th September another affidavit was filed by me, which was drafted. The decision to file the affidavit, the drafting, even on Home Secretary had come out on clearly. He did not draft it. We all have full knowledge. It was drafted by Chidambaram and his cronies, and then later on, as per direction, I went and filed, which removed the references of Ishrat Jahan being a LETE recruit, Fidain, Jihadi terrorist. As if, and let us make it very clear, the purpose, the objective of the entire team was to assassinate the then Chief Minister of Gujarat and the Home Minister of Gujarat, who are incidentally Prime Minister of the country and Home Minister of India today. It was pure. And that was the purpose, the IB generated report, it was the intelligence operation, but the entire media and the government tried to redirect the entire narrative as if they wanted to frame. Subsequently, an SIT was formed. Dr. Satyapal Singh, he was Commissioner of Police Pune, he was Commissioner of Police Mumbai. Later on, he was ADGP Law and Order and he is a last government. He was a member of. He was still a member of Parliament from Bhakti. He had spoken out on 6th of March in 2016 after my interview came out in Lok Sabha. We can see the record. He had also been associated with the. He has also been associated as a chairman of the SIT, which was formed by the High Court of. The uniqueness of this SIT has been of the order of the unprecedented, and uniqueness of the order of the High Court have been explained to me in the debate, but I will capture 1 or 2 points. In no other case in the investigative history of this country has accused or victims' relatives been allowed to choose a police officer who will investigate the case, but in this High Court order of Gujarat it was done. 1st December 2011, Shamima Kausar, mother of Ishrat Jahan, and Gopinathan Pillai, father of Javed Mohammad Gulab Sheikh, were said, whichever officer you say, he will also be a part of the SIT, apart from one officer from the government of Gujarat and one officer from the government of India. In this capacity, they chose Satish Kumar Verma, Satish S.C. Verma or S.K. Verma, Satish Verma, known anti-Gujarat establishment officer who had taken on, there was a group of cabal which was working on this without any basis, and by his own admission, by the speech of Dr. Satyapal Singh, we can always find out that it also gets established that Satish Verma was carrying out the agenda of the then government, whatever happened. Number 3, I want to say, I have come out on record and said that Satish Verma, before putting a cigarette on my thighs, had repeatedly said, मान जाओ, मेरा commitment है. He used a very bad term for that. मुझे 2 आदमियों को अंदर करवाना है. रंजीत सिन्हा ने मैडम को कमिटमेंट दिया है. I say with full sense of responsibility, Satish Verma challenge it, we will have him arrested. And this I have said it in my book. Having said that, but what is the seeds of Hindu terror, how it came into being also has been explained. See, what happened was the 2005 Indian Institute of Science attack happens on 28 December 2005. Thereafter, there is one attack in the Varanasi, Delhi, Varanasi Cant Station and Sankat Mochan Temple, 7th March 2006. Then from 9th to 15th, our agencies catch a group of Lashkar-e terrorists transporting arms around Ahmedabad, Malegaon, that area. The amount of arms seized, if anybody sees, was, as per the technical experts, was adequate to wage a war. That was the amount of details of RDX, IEDs, communication equipment. So small time war could have been, low intensity war could have been fought with that. With clear instructions that one of the target was RSS headquarters. Thereafter, the Government of India's annual procedures were happening. Home Secretary level talks were being held in Islamabad. On that very day when the delegation was supposed to return, there was an attack on RSS headquarters on 1st June 2006. But I didn't know that around the same time this input came to me, I was called to the Home Minister's office. I thought it will be about the RSS headquarters, and all senior officers were missing, all officers above me were missing. But what happened was there were two people. See, Shivraj Patil as Home Minister, I have written it in the book also, he was very unattached. For him, attire and attack did not make any difference. Every time there was an attack, he thought it should be a new attire. It's a matter of record. Every time he used to visit an attack site, he will go with a new attire. You can verify, it's a matter of fact. So I thought he did not know the difference between attack and attire. Shivraj Patil's room I was called. I was asked what are all the cases in which two people, he did not ask me any question. He was resigned on the chair. Two people were sitting on a sofa. कहता उस केस में one was Digvijay Singh. Another gentleman whom I later came to know was Hemant Karkare. Both of them kept on asking me. I said I have no idea. In this case Lashkar-e-Toiba, in this Jamaat-e-Dawa, in this Lashkar-e-Toiba, in this Hizbul Mujahideen, Harkat-e Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, everything I had details. He said नहीं, Hindu का होगा. मैंने कहा I don't have the details of any Hindu attack, no evidence, no intelligence. You find out from some other source, there is a different division dealing with the communal army. I said you can find out from there. No, I want about terrorist attacks. I said terrorist attack, this is the case. I kept on telling him that Home Secretary will be in Delhi around 4 o'clock. You or other senior officers, you can find out from there. Even have a larger perspective. कहते नहीं हमको आपसे लेना है. मैंने कहा मेरे पास तो है नहीं. Thereafter I recorded it and sent it to the seniors, and that's it. Then suddenly one thing happened. See, normally whenever there used to be a terror attack, within 15 days, within 24 hours, we used to get the details of that attack. But this was a very unique case, and that's the reason that this case, in smaller towns, what happens is, some small time traders, they blow up their workshops and take false insurance claims. Some gentleman called some Deshpande or Kulkarni in Nanded had done a but he was a Bajrang Dal worker. So they termed it as a first Hindu terror case, an event which happened on 20th April. Normally, very unconventionally, it came to Home Minister's notice only in the middle of June. So you can always draw your conclusion. And later on in investigation, it was found out that it was no terror case, it was a false insurance claim. For that, one of the officers of CBI, a special director, just because he wrote it is a false insurance claim, he was not made director. 1st June 2008, 18, when my book was first discussed, he had read my book and he had also come on the panel. I don't want to take the names. So if anybody can go back, he was there, he had reviewed my book also. Subsequently, what happened? Mumbai happened, no issue. Malegaon, 8th September 2006 happened. Again, Lashkar-e-Toiba. So it was going on. Then when Samjhauta happened, I went to the office. That happened around 2:40 or in the morning. My seniors were outside, so I was called. I went to the office at around 5:36. Spoke to Bharti Arora, was the SP Crime and Railways in Panipat. It happened around Divana station, one station before Panipat. It was small. She said, Lashkar ka haath hai, everything. Concurrently, one gentleman called Arif Kasmani was claiming that he had executed the attack. For that's a different story, I don't want to digress on that. Repeatedly, Arif Kasmani was claiming. This also, Lashkar-e-Toiba was evident. And everything was going on smoothly, but suddenly they changed the narrative. They said, till 14, see, Samjhauta happened on 20th February 2007. All records till 14th September 2007 in Home Ministry says Samjhauta is a Lashkar attack. And suddenly the narrative got changed. They first tried to bring some Indresh Gupta, then Swami Asimanand was arrested. He spent 11 years in the yes. Till 14th September, the official record says it is a Islamic terror. I have captured many of them which are there in the public domain. Makkah Masjid happened, again the same. Ajmer Sharif, they changed the narrative. Makkah Masjid also they linked Asimanand. Gokul Chaat Bhandar, they again linked Asimanand. Ajmer Sharif, Asimanand. So there was a group. All these things were going on. We were all resisting. At least 3-4 officers were resisting. Is there no nothing doing? In fact, at the same time, my friend Prashad knows that we don't lie in Parliament House. In replies to Parliament House, it was always the minister will also not lie, except I take exception to Chidambaram. He did not lie, but he did not tell the full truth. He excites some truth. This gentleman, what happened was 2008 Malegaon happened. Even in this, we always kept on saying, in all Parliament replies, it says, PAK, POK, ISI sponsored groups are responsible for terror attack in this country, or this attack, this attack, this attack, this attack. Investigations have very clearly shown PAK, POK based ISI sponsored attacks. But your own Congress government or whomsoever the political dispensation, including the media, overlooking that particular statement, was always peddling the issue of Hindus being involved in terror, which is very unfortunate. And not just Hindus being involved in terror. What I very clearly said that certain attacks could have been prevented. I remember November 2007, there were attacks in Jaunpur, Faizabad and Banaras in district courts. July, a meeting is held with UP officers, an input is given. 16th October, another input is sent. The district courts in your state are under the radar of the terrorists. Please secure yourself. Do the preventive arrest. I don't remember the name of the author of this. One Haji Saab from Allahabad was later on found to be. We had full prior information on that. Again, 31st October, there is a meeting held. Minutes are issued on 2nd of November saying that please take preventive action. District courts in UP, there could be attacks. The then government was held by Mayawati. She refused to take any action because Allahabad, because of vote bank politics, he was a very prominent Haji, and if arresting him will affect her adversely electorally. And the attack happened. It happened on 21st November or 22nd November, I don't recall exactly November the date, 2007. 1st January 2008, attack on CRPF camp in Rampur happened. It could have been avoided. We had the intelligence report that there are encroachments inside the Rampur area, CRPF group center. Get it removed. UP government was repeatedly written, not only by the domain area officer, joint secretary, but a UP cadre officer was posted as joint secretary, border management in Home Minister was specifically sent there. No action, and later on he was ultimately recalled by the state government and he had to go back because he was batting for the government of India. That encroachment, the Rampur, it was not only a very bad attack, lot of people, and we also lost a lot of armaments. 2008 we continued Modasa, Bangalore, like that. But what surprisingly happened was 29th September 2008, Malegaon second attack. I have already come many times on this. Initially, Ahle, the local police, which is the first responder to the attack, have repeatedly said Ahle Hadith or Ahle Hadith they call it, but their report used to say Ahle Hadith is a very orthodox Islamic group which is fighting for rule of caliphate all over the world, and they had perpetuated it. Incidentally, radicalization in that area had been flagged by Colonel Purohit, which is now coming true. A lot of radicalization has happened. So Colonel Purohit was one of their first enemies, Ahle Hadith. Simmi grows there. Indore, Simmi's entire growth path is around Indore, Malviya, Gondwa, the entire region. Then adjacent to that is Aurangabad, Bheed is got totally Simmi. Then this Nasik. Ahle Hadith was the original, but what happened? Suddenly they decided to give it to ATS. See, anybody who worked in government knows that a process from shifting of a mandate from local police to ATS takes around 4 to 5 working days minimum. And we had 2nd October, some Dashera was also coming in the place. The paperwork doing personnel in police don't work 24/7, so Dashera was also there, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is. But suddenly, I don't know when the mandate got handed over to ATS, and ATS arrested Colonel Purohit on 29th October 2008. That means within 1 month, the mandate, which requires a process of 5 days or 6 days to be given to, only then the ATS gets the jurisdiction, shifted to ATS. In 20 days, they could gather all the evidences to arrest a serving army officer, because to arrest a serving army officer, I am not talking about the prosecution sanction, arrest also under section 45 of CRPC, there is a prior sanction required, which means the paper has to go through around 40 from the GOC of command area of there, it comes to ICDA defense headquarters, here it has to be, so around 25 to 30 days it would have travelled. That means even if 1 day also it is 25 days. And everybody applies their mind. It is not that. They have to produce evidence, because the prosecution, the sanction for arrest also has to be a speaking order that adequate prima facie, I have issued myself. Adequate prima facie exists to arrest the officer, only then he can be arrested, he cannot be. So that is also another myth which we are exploding, that within 30 days he was arrested. 30 days of the event. And it was a very grey area. The mandate gets shifted, which takes 5 days. Collection, because why I am saying is, in Mumbai 2006 serial train attacks, it took 5 months to arrest the actual accused for gathering the evidence and arrest him. 8 years. If you compare the same efficiency level here, how is it that were they working with alacrity? What was the alacrity in that? What is the basis of that alacrity? So it was a pre-designed plan to frame the Hindus, to take on Colonel Purohit also. And Colonel Purohit was arrested deceptively. He was doing a course in Panchamadi. First given a movement order to Delhi. After coming to Bhopal, he was given a different movement order. And after the movement order, he was actually cheated by his colleague, whomsoever was doing the bidding of the... And ultimately, he was handed over to 8 years before any arrest sanction. And still he is struggling. And we have lost an asset. Then what happened on 26/11/2008 was the most unfortunate thing happened. We were having lot of inputs. 21st, 22nd, Indian Navy spotted the ship in Pakistani waters. As per Chidambaram, his statement in Lok Sabha on 11th of December 2008, he also admits that RNAW and IB had been sending inputs about a coastal attack since 11th November 2008 itself. 21st, it was very clearly got the input was it is there. And thereafter, the surveillance stopped. Chidambaram's statement is on 11th December 2008 in Lok Sabha is that there was no further intelligence, so the surveillance stopped. But that is not the case. Intelligence were still getting generated, shared, but somebody stopped the Indian Navy and withdrew, and the Indian Navy and the Coast Guard was withdrawn and redeployed somewhere else, around the same western sector only. I don't know where it was redeployed, but it was taken out and redeployed. Otherwise, in 2014 also, 31st December 2014, same adventure was tried. Coast Guard blasted them out. 2nd January 2015, they were thrown out. They were exposed. Same thing could have happened in Mumbai, but we did not do it. There was no will. Then what happens? The terrorists enter through Kolaba area. They walk through a Koliwada. If anybody is aware of a Koliwada, in the evening they are all enjoying with lot of drinks and big catch. If they have a big catch, they enjoy. Otherwise also they enjoy, dance, and any person.
Ashwin Hospital, Arvind, Kanyavi.
No, they entered to Koliwada. They came into this, from Koliwada they come to Badwar Park. From the entire Kolaba, that area, that behind that fortress, from there they get into this land mass, walk through the fishermen's colony, which is two things very salient about fishermen's colony, if anybody is aware. The colony, the community is very possessive. No stranger can just walk through them. And even here there were 10 with arms, ammunition, communication equipments, personal effects walking through Koliwada to Badwar Park. At 7:30 in the evening or 7 o'clock in the evening, when they are full, the community is fully buoyant. After coming to Badwar Park, anybody familiar with Mumbai,
Must be handled a glove with them.
Anybody familiar with Mumbai will know it is next to impossible to get taxis in Badwar Park, that even 4 taxis. Badwar Park in the evening 7:30, you wait. You won't get a taxi before 1.5 hours. Kolaba area. 4 taxis. Is it, these are all investigating records. They go to different locations. So I have already expressed adequate doubt that this is an aspect. So many lapses are there. These have never been. Who was the insider? Who was helping? We had an insider minister, a minister of the cabinet, the then cabinet, who is no more with us. He had tried to divert the issue, digress from the issue by saying that not 26/11 attack, but Hemant Karkare's death should be investigated. That is a matter of Rajya Sabha record. There was a discussion on that. That also I have put. What was his problem to digress it? Because say the same minister, why I am saying is, Home Secretary level talks was to be held with Pakistan on the 25th in Islamabad. On 25th, actually a conventional delegation goes, in which X is a domain X additional secretary is not a part conventionally, but at the instance of this particular minister, he was somehow added, and thereafter Home Secretary level talk is for 1 day scheduled. The Pakistanis leave the agenda unfinished, as they always do. The intelligence officers, two of the intelligence agency officers, returned back on 26th morning saying that there is a design to this unfinished agenda. Please, they tell the Home Secretary, please don't take the bait. But this gentleman, in the government protocols, this gentleman was an additional secretary. Others were all joint secretary level. So Home Secretary by default he became number 2 in the delegation. So Home Secretary relied more on his number 2 than the 6 or 8 joint secretaries who were accompanying him. As a consequence, 2 of them they came back, others stayed back. On 26th, what happened was most unfortunate. After 3 o'clock meeting with Minister of Interior, Mr. Rahman Malik, and hospitality was offered. They were taken to Muri, around 60 kilometers from Islamabad, a small hillock station. It is not a hill station of our scale, but it is. Muri, what happened was, there are no communication systems at that time. Now it might have improved. So when this event happens, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8:30, I call them up, कहता साहब कोई झगड़ा है. 9 o'clock, he said साहब हम गाड़ी भेजते हैं. मैंने कहा मैं अपने आ जाऊँगा. I reached control room. We tried to contact everybody, no communication system. Then an officer from High Commission ran into Muri. He took it in the night. And Indian High Commission personnel, I have been to Islamabad, I know. Indian High Commission personnel cannot just travel like that. They could be kidnapped, they could be arrested on false charges, they could be simply picked up and beaten up by ISI. In spite of that, he took the risk of travelling there, informed the Home Secretary, then the communication. By the time it was 1 o'clock. Besides that, we also spoke to, I had taken over one officer, very nice person, out of responsibility. When we called, he was a joint secretary, because I was receiving calls from all sorts of, like cabinet secretary, foreign secretary, embassies everywhere, kya hua, what is the problem? So he came and he took over that. Energy, it was decided, Energy had been alerted, Energy came back in 2 hours from Manesar to technical area of Delhi airport. Energy was ready by 12:15, 12:30. Shivraj Patil says, I will accompany the Energy. It is a fact.
But did he have a new dress for?
No, actually he went directly from home, so I don't know. But there's something more important coming up. something more important. It is all matters of record, log. There are logs. Energy came there, but we informed the Honorable Minister, कहता मंत्री जी तैयार हो रहे हैं. Maybe he was changing that attire. 3 times. Then we said, sir, where there is a CASF column, some 30 people, one company, we remove and send it as a first responder. Some mitigation they will do. They are experts in vital area security. There was no response from Shivraj Patil. Then another gentleman said, sir, आप ऐसा करते हैं, CRPF का battalion है Navi Mumbai में, we will also deploy them. No response, no approval. An undersecretary cannot take a decision to deploy these type of, at least there was no senior, at least Mr. Shivraj Patil should have said yes or no. Repeatedly we kept on sending proposals. No response was there. Then at 2 o'clock the information came, Mantri ji ghar se chalti hai. So we informed that, okay. 2:15 he reached the airport, 2:20 the flight took off or whatever it is. After getting out at Mumbai, Shivraj Patil wanted full protocol to be received as a minister before the energy team was alighted. It is a matter of fact. That's the reason I said much more interesting thing. He wanted the DIG, CISM, Mr. Sandeep Prakash or somebody. He went and received him, honor, boom, boom, boom and all that. Thereafter, the energy team came out. It's a matter of record. The entire process we lost of few hours. Many hours we lost. And every minute, it was a war. It was not a terrorist, it was a war. Every minute, the terrorists, I put it on my record along with their intercepts, wireless intercepts. Because they were talking on Turiya phone, sat phone. They were talking, they are getting instructions from Islamabad, from Karachi and Lahore on sat phones. I have put the intercepts there. And Shivraj Patil was delaying it. And every minute they were getting more and more entrenched, secured. They are securing their position, whereas we were, see, had the agency got there around 4 hours before without this protocol and minister accompanying them, I would have saved many lives, including NSG's own personnel. Maybe Sandeep Unnikrishnan or anybody. But it happened, and that is the reason Sandeep Unnikrishnan had to lead the battalion, and he lost. He was the first to lose his life. In real sense, Shivraj Patil is a murderer of Sandeep Unnikrishnan. That's a different thing. This happened. For every minute of loss, they were securing their position. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, there is a message which comes, additional chief secretary home थी चितकला जोशी, मैडम होटल में थी, उनको निकाल दिया गया. मैंने कहा उनको किसने निकाला? कहता I don't know. तो my colleague was there, he was the assistant commander in CRPF. He said कि मैडम क्या वहाँ टेरर अटैक इनॉग्रेट करने गई थी? कहला इतना तो उनके पास इनपुट है. We were sending the intelligence input directly to Chief Secretary's office. From there, the first person to receive that will be this lady, Chitkala Jutshi. I am not saying like that. She has also admitted in subsequent, bragged about it, that how she was in Taj on that day, on the anniversary of 26/11, on 26/11/2009 in Mumbai Mirror. She was bragged about it that she was also there. Not just being apologetic about it, she had bragged it. 2 days later, a film, Vilas Rao Deshmukh had taken out a filmmaker also. Is a different matter. It's a matter of record. Anybody can confirm from film archives, TV archives. Then there is a lot of things. Immediately the Home Ministry, see what happened was on 30th of November, I was attending a marriage. I was called to the office. At that time I was found that there was a meeting in room number 119 North Block, and DNI, intelligence officers were the top brass of intelligence, Special Secretary, Home, Internal Secretary, everybody was there. And Shivraj Patil was being hounded by all these officers that bloody fellows, you play the politics and we take the. No, not the bullet. Bad name, inefficient. Who is going to call? You are not going to call Shivraj Patil inefficient. You are going to say, bloody the NSG is a useless organization. We gave you so much input, we gave you so much support, and we are now the entire country is saying that Indian security forces are inefficient. Matlab, it was very aggressive meeting. All the service intelligence chiefs heading the intelligence column, including BSF, everybody was at Shivraj Patil's throat. But what happened was, luckily that day he was transferred out he was asked to resign and he was thrown out. During the course of the meeting, he walked out. Now you will talk to the new minister. Safely. And new minister, even that M.K. Narayan was also there in that meeting. New minister said, I will do this, I will do that. He brought in two legislations. He brought in two legislations, and one is the UAPA Amendment Act and one is that NIA Act. National Investigation Agency was formed. And without our knowledge, a DG was brought in from somewhere, a J&K cadre officer, Dr. R.V. Raju, who again started pursuing the same Hindu terror agenda. The 1st January 2009, NIA is formed. The first case handed over to them, in which they found a investigation success, again thrown out by the local court for lack of evidence and for shoddy work, was one event which occurred on 16th October 2009, a clash between two groups on a Narakasur Chaturdashi day in Goa, was termed as a Hindu terror, painted it, evidence manufactured, thrown out. Thereafter, the second issue was, they went on to interrogate David Hadley. People familiar with criminal law will know that they had no authority to do so. It should be at least one officer of the crime branch Mumbai should have gone, because they were the investigation agency. As per CRPC, even if NIA had gone, at least one officer should have gone from there to record the statement and get a signature. Otherwise, under 161, without that also for recording the statement. But that was all set aside. They sent a group of officers called Loknath Behra, Shapu and Pani. Incidentally, Pani is the same fellow who later on framed Major Litul Gogai in a different case, the IGC Special Ops Senior. Srinagar is a very Shapu, all three of them went. They brought out a recording. Of course, the Muzammil's Bhatt's conversation was there, which was cut out from the tour report. But a separate copy had been sent from there. We could read what Chidambaram had cut out about reference to Ishrat Jahan as a Fidain. Chidambaram has cut out. I have put it with a lot of evidence. Now, 2008, what happened was, immediately there were lot of to and fro. Shuja Pasha, DG ISI, was to come to India. He did not come. Later on, there were other things happening. Clear evidences, Pakistanis were raising that and they had produced transcripts of Minister of External Affairs talks with Asif Zardari. India denied it, saying that Minister of External Affairs did not talk, but there was a minister in the External Affairs known as E. Ahmed, Minister of State for External Affairs. They were doing some back channel, I don't know. It is there in the dossier. I have put it at the last page in the book. 30th December, I was chased and an attack to kidnap me was taken up in Dwaraka. A police case was filed. Later on, after police dilly-dallying it and so many things, if you read a police reply, it says, it will look as if a particular time the entire police post was free when I approached them. The entire police post was free. Wo udhar chale gaya, he was put on this dot. If the entire police post was free, there was a Tosha Khana inside, Mal Khana inside, there are 100 trials inside, they can always run away, run havoc. That is technically the reason, na? A police post cannot be free. At least one, but if you see their reply, there was no personal posted when I approached them on the night of 31st December 2008. Somehow it failed, it was a failed attempt. And after this only 7th January they accepted Ajmal Kasab as Pakistani national. After this failed attempt. And after 8 months or 10 months, one intelligence officer comes and says, यार तुम्हें तो ट्रेड ऑफ करना था अजमल कसाब के साथ, पता नहीं कैसे बच गए, हनुमान जी को प्रसाद चढ़ा दो। मैंने कहा मैं हमेशा चढ़ाता रहता हूँ, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं। कहता है यू आर सच ए लकी फेलो, उसने तो तुम्हें तो देना था उनके पास। मैंने कहा छोड़ दो यार। आई वॉज थिंकिंग दैट आई ब्रॉट अ न्यू कार, वो उसके लिए, वो चोरी वोरी करने के लिए, बट चोरी करने के लिए ना, इट वॉज वेरी डिजाइंड। वॉट एवर इट इज, what has happened. So every stage they tried to. Then what happened? Chidambaram lies, as I said. Another lie of Chidambaram is, I will come into that, अंग्रेजी में कैसे झूठ बोलते हैं. A question comes, what are all the issues? First thing is, Kasab, in a reply to a question, I have quoted the question, the details of the reply to the question says, Kasab admitted that there was an Indian hand in the entire Dabba, but our investigating agencies did not find any merit in that, without any reasons. But there are so much merit in this. Number two, transcripts have been shared with Pakistan. Intercepts have been. It doesn't say all intercepts have been shared with Pakistan. There's a difference between that. Because Chidambaram himself had knocked off the intercepts. There's a difference between all intercepts and intercepts. And that is where the crunch was. They were playing to the gallery. And if I had been captured, a book was ready, 26/11 RSS ki Sajish by Amish Barmi. A book was already there. 10th December, the input was there that a book is already under print. Hamid Ansari later on went on to inaugurate the book. The then Vice President. And they were tied up that it was a Hindu terror. 26/11 was a Hindu terror. Certain set of officers were there like that. Ishrat Jahan, they tried to frame somebody. In all these cases, the Hindu terror as angle was thought to be introduced. There are many things like that, but this Hindu terror was a thing manufactured, conceived, manufactured. The entire evidences were manufactured and propagated through media, through judicial sources, through all sorts of things by the UPA in power. That is what I had concluded in the book. Detailed results are that. I have filed affidavits in High Court, Supreme Court. I have faced life threats. I have had attempts in my life. I have narrated all that. That's what I have tried to say that. Thank you very much.